Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. We're going to continue from where we left off last time. Just give me a moment to get it all ready. Is this going? This is going. Okay. So, where I left off was, of course, right here. I have done quite a bit over the past day and a half. I bring this up, so I did level a little bit because I needed to gather stuff. It was mainly the crafting and gathering classes that I worked on. So since I had opened up access to all three areas, I went around and started every single crafting quest, or every single crafting class, and every single gathering class. So, and brought them up to around 20 to 25. Somewhere in there. Some more than others because I needed to gather more or needed to craft more in that specific class. And in doing so, I upgraded my armor a little bit. It's not that much better, but and it's going to be replaced fairly quickly, I assume, as I go through the story. So, but I had access to stuff to craft, and I thought I might as well do it. So, there we go. Another thing I did, I kind of fiddled with the AI, or the UI, a little bit. Move things around, kind of push things more towards the corners and the edges of the screen. The stuff that I don't really care about. Stuff that's not going to be in my main viewing area so much. Kind of made the buttons smaller down here, made them closer together. What else? A lot of the UI features that are normally up at the top of the screen, like the buffs and debuffs that I will have affecting myself, the enemy list, all that stuff I've moved closer to the center, so I don't have to look up to the top of the screen to see what's going on, because I kind of get tunnel visioned sometimes. You look at the center of the screen and you pretty much ignore everything outside of like the center square. But anyway, as I remember anything else that I finished up or changed, I will mention it as I go. However, I have a main story to continue, so let's go ahead. Let me see here. I am in Gridania. Alright. Call of the Sea. The Serpent Officer has has information that may be of interest to you. Alright, so this was immediately after providing the invitation to all three areas, and from here, I don't know. I might just have free roam of the land, but we'll see. I pray your meeting with the Elder Seedseer went well, my lady envoy. Correct me if I'm mistaken. Did you not also deliver a message to Admiral... I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's very confusing. Of Limsa Luminsa? While you were there, did you happen to meet... Badaron? Badaron? The proprietor of the Drowning Winch? Gregarious gentleman, always happy to help his fellow man. Well, I'm told that he has a task for a capable adventurer. I know not what the task entails, but I dare say the the Flame General's personal envoy would make a fine candidate. If you are interested in learning more, pray speak with Baderon at his establishment. Alright, so right away it looks like we are headed back to Limsa. So with that, another thing I did is I kind of activated all of the teleport points so I can move around the city without too much difficulty. And it looks like we can just use the airship to go back to Limsa. I could also teleport, I suppose, but this is cheaper. That is another thing, I suppose. I do have a lot more money than I did previously because a lot of the crafting quests granted me a lot of the same equipment, so I grabbed money as my reward for all the ones that were duplicate equipment. Alright, so we're heading up here to talk to a fellow about a quest. Looks like they are over here. Proprietor. Or perhaps the barkeep. Welcome to the Drowned Wench. Sit wherever you like, lass. I'll be with you in a... Hi, I'm Baderon. Alright, who's asking? I heard... sorry. All of these apostrophes are going to trip me up as I'm speaking. I heard as I've got a job for a cape. I heard as... I don't know. I got a job for a capable adventurer, you say? Well, you're right. Just so you're fairly warned, though, this ain't no job for the faint of heart. Things are liable to get downright airy. But if you think you're still interested, let me know, and I'll fill you in on the details. Alright, so at this point, all the rewards are kind of lower than what I would get. So I'll just take money until that catches up to what I've crafted. And, it might not if I take the time in between sessions to craft current stuff, which is quite possibly something I would do. Alright, he's needed a capable adventurer, as he said. Thank you for taking the time to help me out. I'm sure you're busy, so I'll come straight to the point. Word has it, some suspicious-looking people have been sneaking in and out of the Sastasha Sea Grot. And I need a trustworthy sort to head up north to Aleport and find out who they are and what they're up to. Don't sound like much, I know. But it weren't so long as the Fishbacks pet pirates paid an unwelcome visit. And for... Sorry. This is really confusing to read sometimes. Paid us an unwelcome visit, and folk are feeling a bit nervous. If you'd permit me, I should be happy to elaborate. Oh, hello, new person. Well, if it isn't the Chief Yellow Jacket himself, to what do I owe this rare honor, Commodore Raynor? Come to make sure my patrons are behaving, or just thirsty? Neither, in fact. I was informed that you had requested an adventurer to assist in my investigation, and I came to offer what information I could sift from recent reports. Over the course of the past moon, there have been several sightings of an unfamiliar vessel off the coast of Aleport, in the vicinity of the Isle of Umbra. This information came to my attention no more than a few weeks after a squad of my own soldiers had completed a routine patrol of the region. The sorry, this is going to confuse me every time. Sastasha Seagrot included. Their search revealed little, save for a family of corals that have taken up residence in the caves. Nothing to concern us, in short. Oh, hold on a second. Alright, sorry. In light of recent developments, however, it would seem wise to search the Sastasha again. But with the Sahagin testing our defenses daily, I am loath to assign the task to the limited forces at my disposal. Our line is stretched as it is. Thus, I sought the services of a competent adventurer to conduct an investigation in our stead. Any aid you can offer in this matter be greatly appreciated. Huh? Then it's settled. Sastasha is located in western Lenoska. For more detailed instructions on how to reach the place, I suggest you consult Vimelpa. She can be found at the ferry docks on the lower decks. Married the man? Good luck to you, lass. Alright, so the lower docks, you say? Alright, I think this is a way down. Looks like it. There are stairs leading downward. And then there we are. There's the little arrow on the mini-map. I suppose I could make the mini-map a little bit larger. I don't know. It seems okay for me, but if it's a problem for anyone, let me know. I will certainly change things if it makes it easier to view. Where am I going? I'm heading that way. Ah, there we are. I can just teleport over there, it seems. To the Fisherman's Guild. Right over here. Hear about Commodore Rayner's investigation? Then you'll want to board a ferry bound for Aleport. Once you arrive in western Lenoska, though, you better pay a visit to the Hall of the Novice before you blunder into Sastasha. The Adventurers Guild runs the hall, and the folk there will prepare you, train you with the skills you'll need to face the dangers undoubtedly waiting for you in Seagrot. The hall is on the way to Sastasha, just north of Aleport. Head inside, and one of their seasoned adventurers will take you in hand. Best of luck to you, friend. Oh, one thing I need to add, if I can find it here somewhere. I don't know if I have access to it. It doesn't seem like it. No. Okay. So we need to take the boat to Aleport. Trying to save my money as much as possible at the beginning. Once I can make some money fairly well, then I won't worry about it so much. I don't think I've used this aetherite, so maybe I should use it real quick. Make sure I can teleport here at a later date. There we go. Just a quick check with the Chocobo key. I think that makes it so I can travel here by Chocobo, but I'm not sure. Alright, so our destination's here. Hall of Novice, okay. Ah, you must be the adventurer whom the Yellow Jackets sent word. I heard you are to brave the depths of the Sastasha Sea Grot. The occupants of those caves are rumored to be as numerous as they are bloodthirsty. No matter what the epic tales would have you believe, strolling into such a den of savagery alone would be the height of foolishness. No, you shall need companions, and you shall need the training we here at the Hall of Novice can provide. I strongly suggest that you study the fundamentals of group combat before continuing your mission. The smith here oversees the training schedules. Speak with him and you can register for exercises tailored to your particular field of expertise. I don't know what that pause was for. When you have mastered all that our masters have to teach, then it will be time to head north once more. Report to the Yellow Jacket Scout at the mouth of the Sastasha Sea Grot, and he will furnish you with the details of your duty. Okay. So it looks like up here is our destination. Just a generic Yellow Jacket, I guess. Please tell me you're here on Yellow Jacket duty and not some daft sod out for a stroll. Can't take any more of this waiting. You are? Thank the gods. I assume you already know about the ship slipping around the Isles of Umbra? You've been on the lookout for pirate activity ever since the vessel was sighted, thinking a crew of cutthroats might have a den nearby. So when we received word that men of questionable quality had been seen passing in and out of Sastasha here, we weren't entirely surprised. I've yet to see them for myself, but if this lot belongs to those fishback fancying serpent reavers, well, you can imagine the panic it'll cause. The kidnappings are still fresh in people's minds. Anyway, your task is to poke around in the caves and find out exactly who we're dealing with. While you do that, I'll be keeping watch here, praying you don't spot any blue face tattoos. Alright. Duty finder, duty support. Alright. Enlist the aid of allied players and NPCs alike to slay monsters, solve mysteries, and defeat the mighty boss lurking in the depths. Conquering dungeons is not only a time-honored tradition of adventurers, but it also progresses the main scenario and tests your prowess at a given class or job in a timed environment. Intimidated? Fear not, dear adventurer, for with a little guidance you too shall be clearing dungeons with confidence in no time. I don't remember it saying anything like this before. 2 ways to adventure. You may challenge a dungeon via 2 different methods, by calling on the support of trusty NPCs, or by pooling your talent with other players. Oh, really? Like, this used to be one of the problems I had, and I think I may have kind of touched on this in one of the previous episodes, is like as DPS, since that is the majority of the classes in the game, usually when you go into a dungeon, you need 1 tank, 1 healer, and 2 DPS. And in a party of 4. In a party of 8, it's the same thing but repeated with some differences depending on scenario, but it's usually one tank, one healer, two DPS. Uh, but it's always been that you had to wait on players to go into a dungeon. If they allow NPCs now, then that's going to save a bunch of time. I thought I was going to have to go in here, queue up a dungeon, and then find something to do for the next 20-25 minutes as I waited for it to be ready. But if this is the case, then I am glad for the change. This change may also have come across by, as a MMO continues, it does lose players slowly, gradually. Sometimes they have events and such to bring people back, but for the most part, it is a thing that dwindles down to a mere fraction of what it was when it started. And because of that, of course, means that you might not find the people to join in a dungeon. So I'm guessing this has come about to make sure that you don't have to wait. So yeah, this will be interesting to take a look at. No matter how you form your party, the trials that await will be comparable in difficulty and experience. No matter how independent and capable you may be, a dungeon is too mighty a challenge to overcome on one's own. By choosing duty support when accessing the entrance to an applicable dungeon, you will summon a balanced team of skilled NPCs to support you on your path to glory. Just don't forget them once you're rich and famous. Yeah, I suppose. After choosing a challenge to challenge a dungeon with NPCs via duty support, so this is what I'm going to be going for. A party that perfectly complements your current class or job will be automatically created for you. All that's left is to select the register for duty, and you will be battling monsters in no time. Okay, so like I guess it changes depending on. Okay, so like if you went in with a tank, you would get one healer and two DPS. If you went in with a DPS, you'd get, of course, one of each. Um, and it might change depending on what class, current class or job. So maybe the types of healers and tanks, DPS you'd get would change depending on what you went in with. That could be interesting. I suppose maybe by more general of like melee DPS versus range DPS, that sort of thing. They say a burden is shared. They say a burden shared is a burden halved. With the duty finder, you can split the burden amongst team players, a team of players. All right, so that's talking about players or player teams. You've been matched. Select commence. Right, that's what I'm used to. More and more dungeons will become available until you find yourself master of a sea of tribulations overcome. Don't let competition deter you from challenging your favorite duties again. Simply open up. Okay, just you can repeat them as much as you want. Need a refresher. May access the information. Okay. True adventurer knows the meaning of duty. Secure your legacy by fulfilling yours. It's interesting that I have to say I understand what I must do. All right. And so Enter with a party of either players or NPCs. I'm going with NPCs. And of course, it seems like the dungeon is a level 15 dungeon, so I am a bit over leveled. So I'm probably going to be synced to level 15 when I go in. And we shall commence. Wonderful. I do not have to wait to go into a dungeon. I'm happy about that. And we kind of get an overview of what the area looks like, some of the things you'll be facing in here. A lot of aquatic things, it seems, and pirates, by the sounds of it. All right. So a lot of new information. It looks like we have 90 minutes to complete this, so plenty of time. Looks like they are waiting on me to do stuff, which is awesome. All right. So clearing instance raids. Once a boss has been engaged, players will be unable to enter or leave. If you're KO'd, party member can raise you or choose to return to the entrance. Okay. Limit break. Right. Limit breaks are powerful actions. When the gauge is full, you can use it basically. Depending on... Yeah, I do know all of this. Depending on who, like what your class is, will determine what type of limit break there is. This is actually what I was looking for before coming in here, but I didn't see the limit break button, and I'm not seeing it now. So it may have changed. I'll have to take a look at it in between. Alright, so now they will follow me, and then they'll start a fight. Alright, I'm gonna need to change one of my buttons in a moment here. Alright. Keybind. Targeting. Oh, I can't have it as that? About that. No? What about... What? Alright, well then. I'll change that later, I guess. I'll just deal with it for now. But I'm, not with any other people, so it's not like I am making it hard on them or anything like that. I don't know where I'm going. Find a bloodstained scrap of parchment with a message scrawled upon it in faded ink. The Captain Ike's, he sees blue. Or his... What? His sees blue? Alright. Not sure what that's about. But I guess we're heading this way. And of course, it's going to take me a little bit to get used to where I set all the UI. Like, a lot of it's going to be down here in the bottom third. And some of it may overlap as well, but that's fine. And also, don't expect me to play this like like top of the game type things. I play this for fun. I don't care if like whatever I do is optimal or not. Oh. There we go. And hopefully, like, as long as I don't do anything stupid, like, it won't penalize me for doing things wrong. Like, as long as, you know, I survive, I don't cause, like, the healer to have to heal me too much, then it should be okay. You know, I hope it doesn't make it so that I have to worry. Well, I'm not a healer, so I guess I don't need to worry about keeping my party alive. I guess just as long as I do decent enough to not die horribly or over and over. Oh. Targeted the wrong thing, apparently. Alright. Dungeons are just a lot of fighting and a little story. I think it's okay for the most part. I mean, MMOs are all about combat usually, so I guess as long as we are headed towards enemies, we'll do just fine. I do have healing things of my own, just in case. You know, the top row of my abilities are all healing of some sort. So if it turns out like I am getting low on health, I do have alternate options. So I don't have to just rely on the healer. Also, I really should zoom out so I can see what's going on. Also, I'm not sure if I need to, like, defeat everything. Like, if I just... Like, I don't think I need to fight those over there if I don't need to. I can just move this way, right? What is this? Sure, I'll press a switch here. Maybe it's the wrong switch. And again, I certainly don't remember any specifics about these dungeons. I remember I have done them in the past, but I don't remember what in them I have done. So, something I would normally have to be doing as a monk, or sorry, as a pugilist, is all of these abilities do like extra damage or have an extra effect if I use them in the proper arc. So, like some of them are used in the back arc, which is shown by the red circle around the enemy. So the empty part of the red circle is, no, there we go. The empty part of the red circle is the rear arc. I believe you do more damage if you attack the rear arc, which is why it's beneficial. We probably will need to attack these, I guess. But like, different of these abilities have varying effects depending on if I hit them in the back arc or in the side arc. For the most part, like I said, I'm kind of a casual player, so most of that is not going to matter to me. Also, I got a new ability. What is this? Oh, I suppose I just leveled up and it's probably out of range of this dungeon, so I probably can't use it. Okay, this... And it looks like there's a lot more in here. I thought this was the boss door, but I guess it's just once everyone's inside and the fight starts, you cannot leave. But again, it shouldn't be too much problem. Yeah, see right there it said the door was sealed off, so we just can't leave at this point. Of course, this is the first dungeon, so there's nothing too dangerous. There was a couple things that happened, but, you know, for the most part, it seems pretty okay, you know? Not too many dangerous things to have to worry about. Like AoE attacks or things like that, or like special things that you have to do in order to defeat them rather than just deal damage. That being said, the boss in this area probably has something to that effect. Alright. I'm gonna see if I can just head to the end of the dungeon. So, like, I remember that there were multiple things that you could do in this dungeon. So, like, you can see that there are multiple rooms by each one of these little pins that are on the map. But overall, our destination is in the southwest. So I want to see if I just pick up this captain's quarters key, which looks like it might go to the captain's quarters. If perhaps I can just skip all of the extra stuff in the dungeon, because I'm not really interested in all the extra loot. If it's for like an achievement or something, I can always come back on my own time, do it then. But for the most part, I'm just here to relive the story. You know, I've got my first game. Oh, this doesn't seem where I want to go. But whatever. I'm here. Again, I don't really know the dungeon all that well, so I might just fumble around a little bit until I find the correct way to go. Alright, so it looks like there is another key that I needed from him, which might open up something over here. Then again, you know, maybe Maybe I will have to go into each and every room if we keep getting different keys. Alright. However, it does seem like we might have been able to just skip most of it, because this looks like it is entering into a boss. Well, a second boss zone, I guess? Well, the checklist is all the way down at the bottom, so... Well, but we're not to our destination yet, are we? Probably have one more fight to do. I am noticing that some of the UI I still need to fiddle with, it looks like. I don't like the big health bar at the top of the screen. I'd rather have it, since, you know, I'm kind of paying attention to when my abilities are recharged. Most of the time, my most of the time my attention is down at the bottom of the screen. So I'd like the health bars. I mean, I do have smaller health bars just to the left of them, but I'd like that big health bar down at the bottom as well. Alright, so looks like we were able to skip a little bit. Again, I'm not really sure of the extent of what we skipped. I just know that in the past, I recall people... For a moment, I thought that was our tank falling over. Luckily, it's not. And of course, I'm not targeting the same target as the rest of the party most of the time. That's okay. You know, the damage is being done no matter what. Again, I'm more of a casual player. I might even be able to skirt around these other folk. Just come down here. Because again, I'm not in here to get experience. You know, that's part of the benefit of dungeons at one point, was that they offered more experience than why can't I target? There we go. That was a bit odd. Alright, we can leave the rest of all of that to there. So, as you can see, there's an unnatural ripples thing going on here. I believe there is some sort of mechanic that we have to do in this boss fight. But I don't remember what. Do I remember what I have to do? Not a thing. But I probably shouldn't be in the same fighting arc as the tank. Because he's standing over there to prevent it from hitting us. Like that forward arc right there. Bubbles? Not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe it's a time thing. Well, if worse comes to worse, I'll find out when the party wipes. Ah, I see. There we go. Beat the boss, beat the level. Don't need to worry about the followers. And then in a normal game with other people, this is the point that you would hand out like thank yous and whatnot, like a thumbs up to the person that you thought did the best. A lot of people don't, but you know, it's nice to get them occasionally. As a DPS, you hardly get any, but as a healer and tank, you get all of them. Because, well, the tank is preventing you from taking all damage, and the healer is keeping you alive. Alright. So that's done. We'll head back and report. Oh, the other thing. Unauthorized to summon mount. Well, okay. I obtained a mount from the mail that I had picked up. So, because I've been playing X amount of time, I'm guessing I automatically get all these rewards for the length of time I've been playing. Now, for me, it's not very long. It's not like I've been playing the 8 years or 10 years that the game has been out. I'm sure there are people that have. But I don't feel like paying a subscription for a game that I'm not playing. So, when I don't play, I don't pay for the subscription. Therefore, I don't have much in the way of those things. Ow. Alright, back here to report that it's done, and we will continue on with the game. If I could skip dungeons, I certainly would. I just don't find them all that interesting for the most part. Aye, such a task was on the books. Was, mind? I'm afraid the ship has already sailed, friend. Ah, might you be the adventurer who accepted the job of investigating Sestasha? It would seem the ship has not only sailed, but now returns to harbor. None the worse for its voyage. A pity. We dragged our boots too long on this one. No matter, the wheel will turn, and our chance will come. You are right, of course, but there shall be no rest till we have attained our goal, lofty though it may be. Not a week of sleep, Great Leader. Adorable Mikote. Thank you. I do try to spend a bit of time in character creation. I want to make my characters unique and not just default. In a second, I suppose I can give you a better look if you'd like, as soon as we're done with the cutscene. Also, welcome. Our aim, lest you wonder, is to perform such feats of heroism as will earn us a place in the song of every alehouse in Eorzea. We mean to write a legend which will inspire adventurers as yet unborn to follow our shining example. Do you have such a goal? Large or small, it matters not. Only have a star to reach for, and you will reach higher. Purpose can sustain you through times of hardship. Keep your eye on the prize, and all obstacles will be overcome in time. A few hours, I think. Partly because I was going through all the options to see what was available. So I, uh, I made a Mikote. I made a I don't know the races' names. The dragon folk. I made one of them. I made one of the rabbit people. Um, so I spent a little time on each one, and I ended up liking this one the best out of the three. So I do like my character creation, and Final Fantasy XIV has a pretty good character creation as far as I've seen. Let's see, you would not think to stride into battle unclad, would you? Well, goals are as arms and armors for the spirit. I wish you fortune in your endeavors, milady. Later on, you can take your time on the glamour side of the. That is true. Um, Glamours are going to take a lot of time if I choose to do it on this character. Which means to make your outfit. Yes, yes. This is not my first time through. I have played this before. It's just been like 8 years since I've done the main quest. So I'm going through it again because it has been so long since I have played. No, no worries. Uh, and I don't think it matters whether or not this is my first time playing or my eighth time. But I just wanted to let you know that um, whatever you say, it's not likely to be of any spoiler to me. It's just I've forgotten in the long run. I've played through um what was it? Um I've played up to the most recent DLC. So um I forget what it was the previous DLC was. But yeah, I just wanted to the Endwalker. I have not yet Shadowbringer. Yes, I have not played Endwalker yet. I am up to that point in my primary game, but Shadowbringer is the story that I've played the most recent. So, and there's a lot of story to catch up on too. And as far as the side stuff goes, I don't know how much of that I'll do. I'm probably going to just stick to the main quest as far as streaming goes. A lot of the things have changed. I have been noticing, um, like the dungeon I was just in. I I didn't know that they had made it so that you could go in there with NPCs. I was expecting to get to the first dungeon, queue it up, and then have to find something to do for like 25 minutes. So I like the change. I don't know if it's for good or bad, but I like it, and I think it has helped speed things along. It also helps that I am in a new server, so like all experience I believe is doubled to until you get to like level 80. So I won't have to worry about power leveling off stream or anything like that. Even though I probably will do some of that for like the crafting classes because I like crafting in this game. And as soon as this cutscene is over, I'll show you a bit closer look at the character. Back then, are we? With all your limbs and the tale to tell, I'll wager. Fishbacks. And there I was thinking you'd only have to crack a pirate skull or three. You turn your back for 5 minutes, and the scaly people have set up shop on your doorstep. Um, Another thing, I will let you know right now, I do not see the need for swearing, so if I see characters swearing, well, varying degrees, of course, and I catch myself in time, um, I'm probably going to kind of go past it. I'm not going to swear if I can help it. It's just a thing for me. I've never seen the need for swearing, so. Still, sounds like you left them in pieces, so I don't suppose they'll be carrying out whatever mischief they was planning. Unless they was planning on feeding themselves to the fauna of Sastasha, of course. Any road, all's well that ends well. On behalf of Limsa, I thank you for shedding some light on the mystery. You've lived up to your reputation. I could ask for no more than that. I haven't noticed any NPC cursing, as far as I know, and I'm in shadow. Well, like this guy right here. Half of that paragraph I was reading before I brought up the whole swearing thing. At least low levels of swearing. I know that the game will like filter player swearing and whatnot, and I'm sure a lot of what they say isn't necessarily considered swearing, but like I know some things are like minor swears, like I just choose not to use the language if I can help it, I guess. Now I bet you're dying for a rest, but just in case you're not, I was wondering if you might be interested in taking on another job. It just so happens that I've had a request from our sister guild in Gridania, you see? Seems the forest folk are in need of adventure, what can get things done. For them to ask for help like this, you can bet the task won't be no skip through a sunny glade. But after the way you dealt with our fishback infestation, I doubt it's anything you can't handle. You don't like cursing either. Okay. Well, I'm glad that it's all good. This is actually a good close up of the character. So I kind of went with a uh, purplish gray hair with highlights. I went with white highlights because they kind of stick out better. I wish they're little pet peeves that I have. I wish that the back of the hair would also have highlights, but this hairstyle doesn't. Um, I went with, of course, heterochromia eyes, um, a blue one, and I tried for more of a vibrant purple. I guess in this light it's slightly more magenta, but that's fine. Um, and then a couple other things. The lipstick is kind of more of a colder color rather than a warmer color, just because uh, the skin color, the hair color, seems to be more of a cold color composition combination, something like that. Of course, the outfit is just the generic outfit that I have for um, uh, the combat class. And I went with like silverish earrings, I guess. So, um, give us a shout when you're ready, and I'll lay it out for you. And complete the quest. Get double experience because it's great. Party Finder's unlocked. Of course, we'll be unlocking things throughout the entire game as far as I know. Not sure if there is a way to have a close-up other than, like, just standing in the light and zooming in. So, you know, I took a look at a lot of the long hairs, um, and I didn't really like. I like long hair, but sometimes they just don't really look that well in a game. Like the way they move around the shoulders isn't necessarily the greatest, and I just wasn't happy with any of the ones that I saw. At least not when I was creating the character. Maybe I'd change my mind if I went back and looked again. But yeah, that's what I've done with the character. Of course, uh, as you can see, I went with a pugilist. Probably going to uh, continue on to monk, and then um, probably samurai at 50. Um, I don't know what the Reaper class is. That seems like it's a new one. Um, I'm not going to do any healers or tanks because, uh, as much as I like some of the way they look, I don't play well as a tank or healer. Just, and that's just from past experience. You know, I know I would not be a good tank, and I know I would not be a good healer except for myself. So I stick to DPS. Might look at a few of these different ones. Like Machinist could be interesting. Um, of course, I'd like to look at the Reaper since it's a class that I don't know about. Um, Lancer into a Dragoon could be interesting as well. Need to have level 70 and have Endwalker expansion. I do have the expansion, so I I do have that to unlock the Reaper. Okay. So that's not going to be for a while. Um, is it one of those classes that's going to start at level 70? Or will I have to level it up from like 1 or 10 or something like that? I guess I'm not familiar with it because I believe when you unlock Samurai it starts at 50. But That's just what I think I remember. I could be wrong about that. But for the most part, I'm probably going to stick with DPS classes. Um, and we'll see. However, in the crafting and harvesting classes, I will raise those to the maximum level because I enjoy them so much. And apparently, they also get an experience boost on this server because it's a new server. So, you know, apparently I get plus 100% experience, which affects quest experience, which I am not familiar with. Or at least I don't remember experience boost affecting quest experience. I could be wrong. But it has been 2 years since I've last played. But yeah, I suppose continuing on with the quest has information about a new task in Gridania. Ready to hear about the job then? Like I said, the request comes from our sister guild in Gridania. And that's all I know. But whatever it is you get asked to do, I somehow doubt it'd pose any trouble for an adventurer as survived the bedlam in Sastasha. If you think you might be interested, you'll want to have words with Mother Ione, a counterpart in Gridania. Good luck, lass. Also, I might, like, a lot of the side quests I will probably do off stream. So, like, all of the crafting stuff I'll do off stream. I did a few of the pugilist quests on stream, but I might leave those for off stream as well, because they're not the main story. They, as much as I do enjoy all of the quests, I don't like the purpose of the stream is the main story. So, you know, unless someone comes along and has a request for me to do a specific side quest, I'll probably just do all those separately. Where am I going? And I suppose to Limsa Lomitsa, or not Limsa, Gridania, which I think this takes me to the airship. There we are. And of course, I'm just starting out, so I don't have all that much money. So I will be spending as little as I can possibly get away with. For most situations, of course. Some of them I will pay for, you know, just teleporting to save time, that sort of thing. Alright, so where are we going? We're going upstairs, I think. Yeah. Take a seat wherever you like, friend. Our waitress will come take your... Oh, not here to dine? Dare I hope that you're the adventurer better unsent word about? You are? Matron be praised. So I think about crafting your own gear or using gear from the quests and dungeons to save Gil. Yeah, for the most part, I will use whatever equipment that I get. With the experience boost, I'm probably going to stay ahead of the curve as far as level goes. So I will be synced to whatever the highest level is for that the instance. So I should be okay. I did spend a little bit of time crafting um, in between last session and this session, just because I was leveling up all of my crafting classes. I had just gotten access to all 3 cities, so I was just bringing them up to level 20 to begin with, and while doing so, I did craft a little bit of armor, and that's the armor that you can see me wearing at the moment. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mione, and the Carline Canopy is my place. With regard to the task in question, there's a fair bit to tell. Let me know when you're ready to hear the details, and I shall brief you. Alright, quest complete. So, as you can see, I did craft, like, just the primary armor, just because I had some spare stuff. As you can see, my inventory is overflowing with different items, and that's probably how it's going to be throughout the entire game. Because I just can't help it. I like crafting, and that's going to take up a lot of inventory. Luckily, there's not as many high quality items versus normal quality items anymore. I believe they got rid of a lot of the harvesting high quality items, and of course modified crafting to compensate for that fact. And I believe that was a while ago. Ready for that briefing? Good. Now then, here's the long and short of it. Yeah, they did take away the HQ harvesting, which, you know, I was upset with at the time because I had my not storage characters, the whatever they are, the NPCs that you hire to, like, go out on missions and find items and store a bunch of your items. I had a bunch of them filled with high quality and normal quality items, just because there were so many, and I knew that I would use them eventually. And so they got rid of the high quality items, and suddenly I had a bunch of normal quality items, and I don't know if the high quality stuff disappeared or was changed to normal quality, but whatever it was, that's what happened. Beg pardons for interrupting, Mione, but our needs grow even more pressing. Have none stepped forward? And good evening to you, Bow Lord. Your need is pressing indeed. For you to honor us with a visit. The good news is, your journey hasn't been wasted. I'm pleased to report that we have a volunteer at last, and one who comes highly recommended at that. Got a masked archer here. My thanks for answering the call, friend. My name is Lewin, and I lead the men and women of the God's Quiver. Now, time is of the essence, so I shall proceed directly with the heart of the matter. We wish for you to nip a potential threat to Gridania in the bud. Beneath the central shroud, there lies an underground burial site called the Tamtara Deepcroft, which I believe is another dungeon. The place was once a Gamoran settlement, but we Gridanians have long interred our dead there. Of late, however, shadowy figures have been seen skulking about the Deepcroft, and with ever-increasing regularity. Based on the accounts of various witnesses, we suspect that these individuals belong to the Lambs of Dalmud, a doomsday cult which sprung up during the Calamity. These zealots have proven themselves dangerous in the past, and we leave them to their devices at our own peril. Ordinarily, I would have dispatched my best men to scour the Deepcroft with orders to flush the cultists out. Alas, the Calamity decimated our ranks, and the limited forces at my disposal are constantly required to keep the Ffxiv at bay. I do appreciate that he used decimated properly. I don't know how many times uh, that word is misused. And of course, I say he's using it properly because, well, they still have forces. But, maybe he isn't using it properly, and maybe he did get all his forces wiped out. But still. The birdmen have grown restless of late, and I fear a storm may be brewing. In anticipation of this, I have been compelled to spread our forces throughout the Twelves Wood, lest we be taken unawares. Situation so being, we must turn to others to deal with the lambs of Dalmud. Can we rely on you to undertake this task, friend? And I nod yes, because I don't have a choice in the matter. You have my gratitude. Once you've seen to your preparations, pray make your way to the deep croft and identify yourself to the guard posted at the entrance. We will apprise you of the latest developments. That is all. Careful out there, you hear? May the crystal guide you and keep you. Alright, so it looks like we're heading to another dungeon, which is perfectly fine, especially since I can just go ahead and have NPCs help me rather than wait for a team of players. And on the bright side, with a team of NPCs, I won't have to worry about somebody hopping in and leaving immediately because they randomly got put into the wrong dungeon. Which has happened quite often in the past to me. I am kind of curious how far this is going to go, though. Like, I'm guessing it's probably only going to be like these story dungeons that are set up this way. I'm guessing some of the more difficult dungeons, like the 8-person dungeons. I know they have a specific name, but the word isn't coming to mind. I'm guessing those are still going to have to be with 8 random people, but I suppose I'll find out when I get to those points. I would certainly appreciate if I didn't have to wait for 8 people to do those. There are dungeons and Shadowbringers which you can use NPCs. Yeah, and when they brought that out to the trust system, I believe is what it was called, or is called, I loved it. I love the fact that I could just go in with a group of NPCs. I could go through it, not have to argue over equipment. I could go through it as many times as I wanted. I wouldn't have to wait for people. It was all sorts of good points in my book, I think. So, and then of course, you could level up the NPCs that go in with you. So I did spend a lot of time doing that as well. Is that where I'm going? That's probably where I'm going, isn't it? Yeah, there's a bunch of people in there. This thing's gonna attack me as I walk past it. Or not. Okay. No, maybe I can avoid the attacks. Excellent. You're Yokomori Hana, I take it. Thanks for helping us out, friend. No doubt the Bow Lord has already informed you. Or maybe it's a Bow Lord, I don't know. Since we're in Gridania, I suppose it would be a Bow Lord. In Limsolo means it probably would be a bow lord, since bow is part of a ship. But all right. But your task is to enter the deep croft and purge the lambs of Dalmud. In case you're unfamiliar with them, the cult emerged shortly before the calamity put an end to the sixth astral era. Sorry, I don't know why I was stumbling over that last part. The cultists took the lesser moon Dalmud for their god, believing that it would deliver them from the devastation. And so they were rather disappointed when Dalmud exploded into 1,000 flaming pieces before it could complete its descent. Which I believe it sounded like that was also considered as like meteor. Uh, uh, I never got to play the 1.0 Final Fantasy 14. Um, some of my friends tried it out and they told me that they didn't recommend it, so I never picked it up. I didn't start playing until like the middle of the first year of Realm Reborn. Now, having seen their god turn to ash, one would think that the cultists might feel moved to question their faith. On the contrary, it served only to stoke the flames of their fanaticism. The Lambs of Dalamud are convinced that heretics, that is to say, everyone but them, interfered with the coming of their Lord and Savior, and it is now their sacred duty to avenge him. Whatever it is they're doing in the Deep Croft, you may be sure that no good will come of it. For the sake of Gridania and Eorzea at large, put an end to their madness. Alright, Deepcroft is now accessible. And I will be entering with NPCs. Looks like it is the same NPCs as previously. So that may be because I'm a pugilist. Um, but I guess it doesn't really matter what they are as long as the job gets done. In we go. Also, you will probably see me fumbling around with buttons a little bit here and there. Um, I have changed them around, and some of the buttons cannot be uh, reset. So until I get a good configuration, um, it may be a little bit on the fumbly side for me. Um, I am left-handed, so a lot of these aren't going to work well for me. Most of my key presses are on the right side of the keyboard rather than left. So when they are on the left, I have to let go of the mouse. And I am a bit of a casual player, so I'm not gonna have perfect cycles. I'm not gonna have my buffs up all the time, that sort of thing. It's just gonna be whatever gets me through. Alright, so if I remember, I have to visit each of those 4 shrines to unlock that. Which means we basically just have to circle around to get to them. Oops. Again, hitting the wrong buttons. Maybe not this way. um, Maybe if I look at the map. No, the map says this way. It says this way. There we are. I missed that. And of course, most of what these dungeons are going to consist of is a lot of fighting, so not much I can do about that. I will try to reduce the amount of fighting that I do, if I can help it. Like, if there are things I can skip and not have to fight, then I probably will. And as far as achievements go, I can come back into the dungeon at a later point and finish things up. So, you know, I'm not doing this for a completionist's sake. So, like, if I don't need to go into that room for something, then I'm not going to. And it looks like it's just for bonus experience and stuff. Which at the moment I'm not at any worry for. Hopefully in between streams I can keep my levels far enough ahead so I don't have to worry about having to do any leveling on stream. Because if it comes to that, I might end the stream early. You know, because I don't want to just stand around fighting a bunch of creatures for a stream if I can help it. Like, if I could shorten the amount of time these dungeons take, I certainly would, because I don't know, that just watching me in combat, I don't feel is like as engaging as it could be. You know, I'd much rather be chatting with chat, or with you in chat, rather than talking at you, because I'm having to pay too much attention to the game to see what you're saying. And you know, I'm also fine if you choose not to chat. I'm perfectly fine with that. Just might not be as engaging, if that makes sense. Alright, one orb down. And continue on. Kinda wish we could jump across the gaps, but oh well. And from what I'm seeing so far, it does seem like the NPCs will do whatever it takes for them to survive, and it's probably not like, as long as you're doing everything right, there should be no problems from their end. Like, they should survive as long as you survive. The only reason why they wouldn't survive is, say you stood in an AoE and so the healer had to heal you instead of the tank. Or perhaps they would still heal the tank instead of you. And then by the fact that you fall in battle, that might be considered a loss. I can't remember exactly how the trust system worked, but I think like there was no point in resurrection, because once you fell in battle, then the battle was over. I could be wrong about that, or things may have changed since then. I don't know. Alright, which way am I going? This way. And of course, as we get higher levels, we'll get more abilities to make fights go a little bit faster. Right now, they're not going to be as fast as they could be because there's no AoE attacks for me to do, which is something I liked about the samurai. I don't know if the monk actually has AoE attacks or not, though. And I say monk. I do mean pugilist, which I guess becomes monk. But I don't know if they have AoE attacks. I think they're more about attacking quickly than attacking multiple enemies. I will also be interested in like any changes that may have happened to classes since I last played. Of course, there's going to be like balances and whatnot. So like a little more damage here, a little less damage there, that sort of thing. I don't really worry about that so much. It's more along the lines of like the way classes change. Like I think monk had a big change from what I remember it being. I could be wrong. Again, it's been over 2 years, so we'll have to see. Alright. 2 orbs down, 2 to go. You know, something I wouldn't mind if it was available is, like, I know you could enter dungeons with a party of people and not have it, like, change your level to the level of the dungeon. Like, you could go through a dungeon at your current level. It'd be nice if that is an option at some point for this, but I don't think it would. It doesn't seem like that would be something they'd offer. But then again, I suppose I could then just say it's like solo and go in with a high-level character or something like that. I don't know if that would work for every every dungeon, or even for mini dungeons, because, you know, even with like a good 20 level benefit, I'm not sure a DPS could survive solo without healing or without a tank. Still going the right way, right? Yeah. Okay. And this is another reason why I don't go with a tank, is I don't really know the dungeons. So, you know, as a tank, I feel it's your job to lead the party for the most part. I mean, just as a general rule of thumb, since the tank is the one that's going to be taking the hits for the party, they're usually the one that should determine where the party goes in the dungeon. And I just don't know the dungeons well enough to do that. Alright. Don't need to do that extra room, so we'll head this way. Something I would like to see enabled. So like with the monk, you do cycles of moves. So you do a 1, 2, 3, and then a alternate 1, 2, 3. I would like to see, and I know it's possible because I've seen it in some of the tutorial missions where they're like, hey, here you can, here we're showing off the samurai for the first time, for example, and they have like their cycles all linked to a single button. So you do the first move in a cycle, and then that button is replaced with the second move of the cycle. I would like that done to classes. So instead of having to assign three different buttons to 3 different moves, I'd like to see the ability to assign a series of moves to a single button, depending on how far along the combo you are. Because I mean, like I said, they do it for the tutorials, so it should be somewhat reasonable to be able to do it normally. I could be wrong though, you know, I'm not too familiar with coding and like all the problems that would come about with people trying to assign the wrong moves to the buttons and whatnot. Events further access. Do we have to go around? Am I missing something? Well, let me go this way and find out. This seems like it's gonna wrap around. Well, maybe not. Let me see what's over here. Maybe we have to go over here and hit that, whatever that is. Alright. This looks like it's probably what we have to fiddle with first before we can get through the barrier. All right, back this way. Excellent. One more. Oh, and one more. One more, I suppose. Just a little more, and we should be done. There we go. 2 orbs this time. Don't forget the treasure. I probably don't need it because of the equipment I crafted, but I'll grab it anyway. Summons me from the void to reside, then I missed it. Oh, also, I'm not going to be using a limit break because I can't find out where the limit break button is. So I will probably do that again in between sessions. I'll figure out where it is and get that taken care of. Alright, so a little bit more. Oh, and he does that. Right. Hopefully that's the last time he does this one. Although maybe I should take care of some of these. I would use the limit break right now if I had the ability to, but I don't. Although if I had, then I would still be in that AoE, so maybe it's for the better that I didn't. Boss defeated. And thank you to the NPCs for allowing me to do this without having to rely on other people. Alright, you are back in Gridania. 79 to teleport? Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. Save some time. Back over here to return quest. And see what else they have to offer. Welcome back, Yoko. I'm reliably informed that your foray into the Deep Croft was a success. Nor did I expect anything less. Bateron's ringing endorsement left me in little doubt as to your capabilities. Even so, you're to be commended. Lord Lewin asked me to pass on his thanks. I must say, it's something of a relief to be able to call upon such a capable adventurer. Sadly, death has become an ever more common occurrence within our fraternity of late. Times being what they are, the guild is constantly inundated with petitions, and we all are hard-pressed to find enough hands to deal with them all. All this means no shortage of work for able souls such as yourself. It also provides ample opportunity for the inexperienced to overreach themselves, with predictable consequences. As if to illustrate the point. Aver's gone, it's all you... Oh, right. I remember this. This was kind of a poking at, like, players not getting along and failing dungeons because of it. But, yeah. Aver's gone, and it's all your fault. If it hadn't been... if it hadn't taken you an age to heal, you would have still... Yeah. Don't yell at your companions and parties. It never ends up good. I tried. Bolted out of range before I could finish the spell. He should have been so hard pressed in the first place. I should have done more to lighten his burden. I'm leaving, and it'll be too soon if I never see your faces again. Goodbye. Good riddance. Yeah. This is just... Yeah. Alright, so that's that. Scenes like that have become all too common, makes a dozen times in half as many days. Now, you see why I'm grateful for adventurers of your experience. I can send women like you on a mission without worrying that you might not return. Well, not so much, at any rate. Speaking of missions, I would entrust you with another. About a bell ago, I don't know how long a bell is, a day, maybe? Or maybe, like, an hour? I don't know in-game time measurements, I guess. I received a message from my counterpart in Ul'dah. She seeks the services of a reliable adventurer, and you're nothing if not reliable. So I'm guessing this is another dungeon, since we're going from Limsa to Gridania to Ul'dah. So, probably a third one in the near future. If you think you might be interested in this task, say the word, and I will be glad to share the details with you. New task. So you're not averse to taking a little trip? Wonderful. As I mentioned earlier, a request comes to us from the Adventurers Guild in Ul'dah. Once you arrive, seek out Momodi, the proprietress of the Quicksand. Think of her as the Sultan's version of myself. Chances are she'll send you into the midst of danger, but I have every confidence that you will every confidence that you will pull through unscathed. Now off you go, Yoko, and good luck. And of course, all of this is being done because this is the first opportunity that the player has to. Why am I doing that? I have a turn to get there. Save the money. Do this for free. I say as I read my achievements, and it says that I have gotten 1,000,000 gil for some reason. I mean, I will certainly accept it. I certainly don't remember it being like that, but again, it's been, over 8 years since I've done this part of the main quest, so maybe that's a change for the better. Welcome to the Quicksand, friend. I'm a tad busy right now. If you wouldn't mind showing yourself to... Oh, it's you, Yoko. And there I was, spouting the same tired lie. Leone sent word that you'd be reporting for duty. She also made a point of calling you the adventurer of the moment. That ain't no small praise coming from her. I wonder if, her line changes depending on, your starting city. Because, she says, she interrupts herself saying that she recognizes me. Obviously that wouldn't be the case. If I had started in a class in Gridania or Limsa Laminsa. As a bonus to New World. Oh, okay, cool. Extra 1,000,000 guild for every person getting to this part of the story. That's wonderful. Gets the economy going, I suppose. I bet you didn't come all the way here to listen to me prattle. Doubtless you're eager to get started. So let's talk business, shall we? Get it by getting class to level 30. Oh, okay. And that's what I did. I suppose that's what the Storyteller 3 achievement is. The petitioner ought to be arriving any moment now. By God's almighty, another second under that sun and I would have been set afire. A tankard of ale, if you would be so kind. Excellent timing, Papa Shan. It just so happens the adventurer who will be handling your petitioner is here. We've met before. Although I suppose, again, it depends on if you've been to the city or not. Oh, why if it isn't my good friend Yoko? It does my spirit well to know that you're the one who will be helping us. Mayhap you'd like to appraise Yoko of her mission? Yes, of course. But the petition in question was submitted by an acquaintance of mine at Amagina and Sons Mineral Concern. I always get that name. I always stumble on it. I keep thinking it's saying Amalja, and I know that's not the case. Relates to an unfortunate development at Copperbell Mines. To be plain, giants have seized control of the place. Ah, yes. This dungeon. These giants are of the clan known as Hecaton. Not sure how to pronounce that. Hecaton Cheries? Something like that. Fearsome creatures who sealed within the deepest depths of the mine during the bygone Thorn dynasty. Alas, it seems they have managed to break through a layer of rock which served to imprison them, and now prowl the tunnels where the miners ply their trade. Creatures are justifiably angry about their treatment at the hands of our ancestors. Their presence has forced the suspension of all mining activities on site. It's no wonder they're angry. Didn't the Thorn dynasty come to an end over 300 years ago? You know our history well, milady. The people of that age used the giants to work their mines. I'm not going to try to pronounce that too often. Sorry. By way of enchanted helms, they were able to bind the ferocious creatures to their will. But as it is oft the way in such tales, these enchantments eventually failed, and the slaves rose up against their masters. In the desperate bid to contain the unbridled fury of the giants, our ancestors induced the collapse of the mine's lowermost levels, so as that the great giant revolt was ended, buried beneath 100,000 tons of rock. Well now, that's got me thinking. I seem to recall there being an article about Copperbell in the Mithril Eye a fortnight or so ago. It is said the mines were being opened so as to meet the rising demands of building materials. Like as not, our boys dug a bit too deep and freed the giants. To think the poor creatures are still alive and kicking after 3 centuries. That's a long time to nurse a grudge. They must be seething. Indeed. And that makes them a dangerous to us all. There will be no mining at Copperbell so long as they remain. For the sake of both peace and propriety, they must be subdued. This is a task with which we would have you undertake. I'll not deny that mission will be rife with danger, but our need is great. And so I beg you, put an end to this sorry business. God's bless you. I feared you might have reservations, but I assure you it is for the best. In case you don't know, Copperbell mines are in western Thanalan. Do take care, you hear? And one last thing before you depart. An employee of Amagina and Sons is presently at the quicksand. The fellow's name is Painted Mesa, and he knows Copperbell mines well. It may behoove you to seek his counsel. Alright, I shall head that way. Oh, hold on. Perhaps I should have looked a little more carefully and seen the person right behind me. Looking for Painted Mesa? You found him. So you're the adventurers volunteered to deal with the mess down in Copperbell, are you? You've got guts, miss. I just hope you've got skills to go with them, because things ain't pretty down there. The giants have left a place in a right state, nearing a week after mining resumed. I don't know if you know this, but Copperbell was old when the second old dynasty was still young, and it was abandoned centuries ago. If it hadn't been for the shortage of materials needed for the rebuilding effort, the concern would never have thought to reopen it. Give me just a second to hydrate. I've been talking a bit. Alright, sorry about that. We knew full well about the giants beforehand, but the project went ahead anyway. I mean, nothing could possibly survive being buried under a mountain worth of rock for 3 centuries, right? Wrong. Our miners dug up more than they bargained for. One swing of the pickaxe too many, and they found themselves in the company of giants. Unless we can subdue them, the nation's glorious recovery will grind to a halt for want of aught to build with. Stone torches will keep watch over the entrance in case the giants fancy some sunlight and fresh air. One of them will be able to show you the way in. The hope of the nation's resting on you, friend. Best of luck. Alright, to Copperbell. And I believe we can probably take a... Well, let me check the map here. Right, it's over there. I'm just gonna teleport. I've unlocked the waystone there, so now that I've been given a good billion to get by on, you know, I have I have less problems with spending it on teleportation. Although it'll be nice once I'm able to, you know, summon a mount to travel a little bit faster between places. And even later when I'm able to summon a flying mount. Alright, so we've been up here a time or two to take care of some problems. Now we're heading way back to the back side of it and down into the mines. There's been an incident inside the Copperbell mines. You're here to ensure that its effects are contained. But for your own safety, I suggest you stay well away from it. I like the color scheme of this person with their kind of a fiery red-orange. What? You're the adventurer who's volunteered to quell the giants? I didn't think that Papa Shan would be able to find someone so quickly, if at all. The giants are content to wreak havoc inside the mines for now, but it's only a matter of time before they think to come outside. The sooner you see them, the better. Make ready as best you can and enter at will. Alright. And enter the mines again with the same three. They are, in fact, gaining a level. I suppose each one. And each dungeon is one level difference. It's perfectly fine. I don't remember much about this. I know we have to go down an elevator or two. And I don't know if there's much that we can cut out to make the journey quicker. Excuse me. Now that I've had something to drink, I have the hiccups. Alright. Yeah, this is the way we have to go. Just a bit of fighting as we go. Oh, missed the key. There we go. And down to the next level. So my plans for this are, of course, as I said, to stick to the main quest as much as possible. But I do plan to go through the entirety of the story it, if it holds enough interest, you know. Um, then again, maybe even if it doesn't, we'll see. You know, maybe I'll eventually end up having to just play this on my own time. But for the time being, it seems like at least there's a little bit of interest. I certainly appreciate that people stop by and say hello and listen in. That's kind of the point of what I'm going for here. I don't know which way I'm supposed to go here, but I'm guessing this way. You know, the whole point of what I do here is, oops, I try to provide, like, just something to at least listen to, not necessarily watch. I don't plan on, I mean, this is obviously a stream, but even when it gets placed on YouTube, I don't plan on doing any editing unless necessary, because one of the things I do find a little bit annoying is when people, you know, highly edit their content, like taking 6 hours of whatever they're doing and chopping it down to like 20 to 30 minutes. I find that not only do you miss out on a load of things that could be interesting to see, you also have to rely on the person who is doing the editing to decide what content they think you're going to like. And to me, I like seeing the entirety of it. You know, that's why I like Twitch more than YouTube, because, you know, it is a streaming platform, so you're going to be seeing everything as it's streamed. Like, and there are plenty of videos that I've seen on Twitch that I have then watched on YouTube as well, just because, you know, I do like rewatching things sometimes, and I can definitely say that, sure, there's a lot of things that benefit from being edited out, you know, like starting up the stream, maybe chatting with the people that stop by before you actually get into the game, that sort of thing can be edited out. But like the game itself, I don't know. It's, I guess, a personal preference. I guess not everybody's going to see it that way, but I just want to provide something that you can just listen to for a few hours on end. You know, maybe you're playing a game yourself, and you just want some background noise, that sort of thing. Maybe you're at work and you can just listen to a stream while you're doing whatever you do at work. You know, that sort of thing. That's what I intend to try to provide for. So I know it's not going to be popular, but, you know, I think there are at least a few. Oh, hold on. think this is what I have to do. What are we doing? No? Yep, I picked up the fire sand. What am I doing wrong here? Did I miss something somewhere? Oh. Won't work without fire sand in the powder chamber. Appears to hold 12 ounces of fire sand. Need to kill more mobs. Oh, or I need to, you know, look up. That might also help. Yeah, because I do remember that. You know, I remember coming into this room, have to fight some monsters. Each one would drop a little bit, but apparently this shortens it. You only need to kill a couple, and then there's like 2 pinches of 6, I guess, which adds up to the 12. I got it in the end. That's what counts. There we go. And now to the first giant. Make ready, everyone. Don't pay attention to me. Pay attention to the tank. And of course, something I've... Oh. No. Ow. Okay, fine. Something I've learned from, like, the trusts is pay attention to where the NPCs go, because they will always go to the places that are safe. So as long as you stay where the NPCs are, you should be okay. Of course, that being said, all the way over here, I can't really see many of the party members as it is. But everything works out. Tiny key. And some treasure. Alright, so this is a little more straightforward than I was thinking it was. At least so far. Which is perfectly fine. Down the elevator we go, and more blasting powder. No fire sand. Perhaps there's more in the other room. Um, I guess it doesn't matter which one we go into. Probably have to go into both of them. Alright, fire sand there. 6 on pinch of fire sand. So, yep. Back over this way. Repeat the process. Get another 6 on pinch. Nope. Quit walking in my way, you PCs. Alright. And yeah, I know that there's a treasure chest in there, but there might also be monsters. So, not here for the treasure. I won't be staying at this level for very long. Well, in fact, not at all, since I am, in fact, level 30, not level 20. And come to think of it, perhaps this is the way the dungeon has always been, and just having other people know the dungeon better than me is why I didn't know about the sand that I had to pick up. Another boss that seems to be not so difficult, and you know, and again, that's also partly based on the fact that these are the first dungeons of each area. I do know how difficult some of the dungeons can be. Which one was it? First of all, I've never done the Bahamut dungeons or whatever. The one that take a good raid team that works well together. Just because I know that I could never find one, and I would get more frustrated from doing that. But I think one of the more difficult ones that I remember is, what was it? It was one of the Nier Automata dungeons. It's like some factory of some sort. I can't remember what it was called, but that was one of the more difficult ones that I remember doing. I'm sure there are more difficult ones, but I certainly remember having a lot of trouble dodging all the AoE things that were going on in there. I suppose there were some raid dungeons that were a little difficult too, that had like little gimmicks that you had to do when a special move was being used. Like I think there was what was it? It was like a Medusa like attack where you had to look away when the attack happens, or you get paralyzed or something like that. And I know I could never tell what was being done. Or the ones where you had to that didn't telegraph what was going to happen. You just had to have played through it before. Where am I going? I guess this way. I think that there was something where it was an entire battlefield attack that didn't telegraph it, or I just didn't notice it because I am a narrow-focused DPS character, you know, and didn't notice that it was like, hey, this big thing is about to happen. You should go where the rest of your friends are and survive. But no, I know that I don't think I've ever been the cause of failed raids, but I certainly haven't been the most useful in some of them. Because another thing I don't like doing is oh, slaves no more. Free. I don't like watching a video to see what I'm supposed to do in a dungeon, you know. And sometimes that upsets people because they expect you to know what's going on in a dungeon at any given moment. And you know, I can certainly see that in cases where you don't want a dungeon to fail because a person isn't doing the thing that they're supposed to. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I have watched videos on dungeons before, like the big major ones, you know, not necessarily the 4-man dungeons. Those are fairly easy and don't always need like the balance isn't going to, or what am I trying to say? The success of the battle isn't going to be determined by the fact if you get KO'd once or twice, whereas the big like 8-person or like up to 16-person, I think. I don't know how high they go, but where you have to split up into like several different teams to go into different areas and accomplish a task. Those I try to make sure I know what I'm doing, just because there are so many more people relying on the fact that I know what I'm doing or not. Whereas if it's only 4 people, then they're, I mean, true, they're still probably going to be upset if I fail too often. But at least then only 3 people are upset with me rather than like 23 or however many there are in the raid. Alright, another dungeon done. Thanks to the NPCs. And back to Ul'dah, it seems. So we'll just teleport back. And finish up the quest. Off to the guild. And get this complete. Oh, but he's all bright and glowy. Something's supposed to happen? Gonna be level synced to 21. What's going on here? I mean, I'm fine with that. I just wasn't expecting it. Ah, the Conqueror of Copperbell returns. Thanks to you, our mining operations can resume, and Ul'dah will have the materials she needs to rebuild. The entire nation's in your debt, friend. I'll share the good tidings with Papa Sean the next time I see him. As for you, you'll want to report to Momodi, who's right behind you. It'll do the woman well to see you alive in one piece. I mean, she can see me. She's right behind me. She can probably hear you telling me this. Oh, something's going on. Shut your mouth, you thieving little swine. You stole from me. Don't even think to deny it. Please, sir, I didn't steal nothing. I bought this, paid for it with my own coin. What rot? Refugees are all the same. Couldn't afford maggoty mole meat, much less a choice cut of dodo. I'm going to say it one more time. Give back what you stole, or I'll make you wish you'd never set foot in this town. By rights, I should turn you over to the Brass Blades, you know? Help keep the streets safe for law-abiding citizens. But I'm a reasonable man. If you agree to serve me in whatever capacity I require, the authorities need to hear of your crime. Ha 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 ha. But I ain't done nothing wrong. 12 is my witness. Please, adventurer, help me, I beg of ye. I swear in my mother's grave I didn't steal nothing. I bought this with the coin I'd saved. I'd only wanted to treat my children to a decent meal. And of course, me being the hero that I am. And who are you? What? And who are you when you're at home? The dog's master. I'm not sure what he's trying to say there. Bad enough of this mummer's farce. You lot teach him a lesson. Like, okay, a lot of the English in this is is actually like European English versus American English or United States English, I suppose. Um, so a lot of these sayings don't necessarily make sense to me. Um, but that's okay. You know, most of it does, and I can usually figure out what they're saying, even if I don't understand what they're saying. All right, here we go into a fight. Pugilist versus pugilist. And I'm barely taking any damage whatsoever. Ah, I see. Apparently he's not quite sober, and so that's why I am not having any troubles. And there we go. I ain't getting paid enough for this. Hey, where do you think you're going? Thank you, kind adventurer. Thank you thrice over. And this is another thing I like about the martial arts in this, whether it's the pugilist or the monk, is you actually have like weapons that you're using, and you're not just using your bare fists in this. I suppose not only just because it makes more sense, but I suppose you would have to have a decorative weapon compared, like, and it'd be a little upsetting if the monk didn't have like these neat looking fist weapons um when like every other class has a weapon uh that can look nice, I guess. It'd feel a bit odd if the monk didn't have something like that as well. I'd swear there were more refugees than when I last looked. You wouldn't be mistaken. But it's been 5 years since the calamity. Why are they only coming here now? It's simple, really. While a number of hamlets survived the immediate aftermath of the calamity, many were no longer able to support their communities. The residents found their lands had either been rendered barren or cut off from trade routes. And problems like those aren't easily solved. Though they tried to make it the best of it, it was only a matter of time before they were forced to abandon their homes and seek new life in the city. I see. But the calamity affected the whole realm, didn't it? Is the same thing happening in other cities? If the talk is true, yes. Though perhaps the situation is, or perhaps our situation is more pronounced. Ul'dah has a reputation for being prosperous, so it's natural that the refugees would try their luck here first. My heart goes out to them, truly does. But I would be lying if I'd said that I wasn't apprehensive. I hope their presence doesn't foment lawlessness in the city. Foment. Unfamiliar with that term, but you know, it happens. Well, if things do take a turn for the worse, we always have the immortal flames. I dare say the brass blades would welcome their help. The heroes who fought in the Garlean Empire, patrolling the streets for riffraff? It may well come to that. Impoverished and desperate as they are, you may be sure that some of the refugees will turn to crime. You know what this place is like? If you've no coin, no hope. And maybe that's why everyone's given 1,000,000 guild at level 30. What will become of our city? Not all refugees are bad, mind you. Some are able to find employment and lead honest lives. Dodo tenderloins, get your dodo tenderloins. Guaranteed cheapest in Thanalan. Thank you for your custom, madam. Please come again. Looking around, you'd think that old doe was well on its way to recovery. But peer through the veil of prosperity, and you'll see no end to the misery and suffering. It's interesting that this flashback we're focusing on these two other people, rather than the lady whose memory we are supposedly watching, because she is nowhere near this conversation. Like, it might have been better if she and somebody else were having a bit of this conversation, and then of course she got in the line for food. Oh, I don't know if I read that last line. Whoops. Madam, are you alright? Hey, I'm still on my feet. Wonderful. What now? You mean to threaten the defenseless citizen? What? Saw her buy that meat, you say? That's absurd. Aye, as did I. Leave the poor woman alone, vulture. Who said that? We'll overlook this, but just this once. And he runs off. God's bless ye, adventurer. If you hadn't come along when you did, who knows what that monster might have done. I don't bear thinking about it. And off she goes. All's well that ends well. Ah, Thancred. Well met again. Pray do not mistake my intent, for it is always honorable, and I have been watching you ever since you departed Ul'dah. You played the part of envoy to perfection, confident as a woman on a diplomatic mission should, yet unfailingly courteous to your betters. When your travels led you into the midst of danger, you faced it without so much as a flinch. You, my lady, are quite a marvel, and I confess to being quite taken with you. But my lavish praise continues. Most of all, I was struck by your readiness to aid those in need, even when words were all the reward you could expect to receive. Such selflessness is a rare thing in this day and age. Well, you say that, but I don't really have a choice. The story determines. I mean, granted, okay. Apparently I'm supposed to be playing the character that is, you know, basically lawful good, that sort of thing. And I understand it as, I mean, it'd be difficult to play other alignments in a story like this. Like, a lot of the situations have to assume that you're going to say yes to take care of the problem. Whereas if you weren't a, um, for instance, lawful good character that will take on uh, whatever comes at them, um, you wouldn't necessarily have the story that you do. All of which leads me to conclude that you are indeed the one I've been looking for, an adventurer possessed of a very rare set of qualities. To be sure, your rescue of the damsel in distress was more of a happy accident, but rescue her you did, and that is what matters in the end. I feel I should mention at this point that I also harbor a burning interest in a certain talent of yours. I speak of your visions. Have been experiencing visions, have you not? Well, just so happens that I know of a woman who shares your talent, and can help you understand it. She and I belong to the same organization. We should both be delighted beyond words if you would agree to join our cause. Naturally, there are benefits to being part of such a collective. For one, we should be glad to assist you in realizing your potential as an adventurer. You need not give me your answer now. Think upon it, and if you feel moved to help us, as I pray you shall, speak with Momodi, ever lovely and youthful mistress in the quicksand. Tell her the scions of the seventh dawn have found their woman, and she will tell you where to find us. Alright. Back in to check on Momodi. Or to check in with Momodi, I suppose. Scenes like that are becoming even more common, I'm afraid. Don't worry, though. If you work hard, you'll probably be alright. Saying that, if you ever find yourself in a spot of bother, come and see me. Just don't go pestering me every time you graze your knee, huh? Of course, I do enjoy hearing tell of gentlemen's woes with the women folk from time to time. Ah, Yoko. Sorry to keep you waiting. I was just providing guidance to a fresh-off-the-carriage adventurer. But it's good to see you safe and well. To look at you, no one would ever guess you'd been hard at it with giants in the dark. I never doubted for a moment that you'd succeed, of course. Neither did Papa Sean. Which ain't to say you won't be overjoyed. Oh, before I forget, there's a lass here who wants a word with you. Didn't actually know your name, but hearing her description, I knew who she meant right away. Thank you for sparing the time. I realize you don't know, but I've been longing to speak with you for a while. I do know you. You are the person who was in Gridania. At least it's been not so long ago that I recognize them. My name is Edda. I'm an adventurer like you, though I'm not very good at being one, if truth be told. Anyway, I was adventuring with my friends in Gridania when, well, I'm sorry, you're in Gridania when the leader of our party was killed. His name was Aver, and he and I were to be wed in the spring. You may not remember him, but to say that he remembered you would be an understatement. Sing your praises from dawn to dusk. I saw you for what you are, and I saw you for what you are, you see, an adventurer's adventurer, and swore that he would be like you one day. I believe that he would have succeeded, had a fiend not robbed him of the chance. Since that day I have thought long and hard about giving up adventuring. That was... Again, I do wonder about time passing in games sometimes. Like, they can't just say, like it was yesterday or it was 10 minutes ago or something like that. They have to be vague with, oh, it was some time ago or it was a while back. But anyway, when I think of the woman you are, of all that you've achieved, I find that I am inspired, just as Aver was. And so I've decided to start again as an adventurer. I will go back to the village of my birth and begin training anew. But I wanted to meet you first, to ask you your name. And looks like I give it. Yoko Mariana, I shan't forget. Thank you. I pray that we will meet again. Fare you well. Adventuring can be a cruel business. Time was, I didn't know why anyone would bother. When they first asked me to take charge of the guild here, I didn't want aught to do with you lot. Though it'd be a right pain in the rear to look after you all. But against my better judgment, I decided to accept the post, and I'm full glad I did. I feel privileged to be a part of your lives. And that goes double for yours, Yoko. Eh? What did you say? You want to know about the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? They're beginning to move in earnest then. Listen, Yoko, the Scions aren't... the Scions ain't no... Sorry. The Scions ain't no ordinary folk, and the work they do ain't no ordinary work. I know full well how capable you are, but even you think twice about attempting something of the stuff they do. Knowing that, if you're still certain you want to get involved, I'll tell you what I can. Alright. Signs of the Seventh Dawn. So you want to know more then, do you? Well, ain't that a surprise? I swear if I painted certain death on one door and limitless wealth on another, 9 of 10 adventurers would go the first, and the other bloke would be able to choose on account of being... What? And the other wouldn't be able to choose on account of being Uldan. Anyway, don't say I didn't warn you. Oh, I get it, because being from Ulda, he probably wouldn't trust the writing on the doors. So he would wonder if certain death was behind the door that said so, and vice versa. First of all, if you're wondering whether you can trust the Signs of the Seventh Dawn, you can. They're good people who have made it their mission to solve some of Eorzea's most pressing problems. Of course, that ain't no small task, and so they're always looking for dependable individuals to join. Individuals like you. Now I've been given leave to tell you where to find the Scions, but you must promise to keep this information to yourself, as I am, surrounded by other players. As you can probably imagine, it's something Eorzea's enemies would very much like to know. The Scions are headquartered in Vesper Bay, western Thanalan. The place where you're looking for is called the Waken Sands. Give your name to whoever's at the entrance, and you'll be let in. You're a woman and a man, Yoko, and the days ahead promise to be busy. But I hope you won't forget your old friend Momodi. Drop in and tell me how you're faring from time to time, here. Right, well, I've said my piece. Off you go. Alright, so that's going to lead me all the way over there. So, I think this is where I'm going to call it for the night. Obviously being introduced to a group of major NPCs is probably going to take a little bit. So we'll start up the next session with that, rather than possibly adding an additional hour or so to this session. I don't know how long it's going to take. Again, it's been a while since I've been through this game. So, for now, I think I'll call it here. Again, I am level 30-ish right now, and the quests are level 17. I don't feel like I'm going to have a problem with keeping up with the level of the quests. So I will probably be doing a lot of the crafting and gathering stuff in between. I've got a few of the class quests to do at this point. So I'll probably do those in between sessions. So I might be 35-ish or something by the next session if, I do end up getting some levels. I'll try to keep it as close to level 30 as possible since I don't want to be too much higher than my fighting class level because, a lot of the harvesting classes require you to be able to survive in the areas that you can go to, and probably can't go to them until you have the main quest to get there and whatnot. But anyway, before I start babbling on too much, again, just gonna end it here for the night. We will pick this up next week sometime. So, hope y'all enjoyed it. I will talk to y'all next time. Have a good night.